Now from Sudan to another crisis in Africa where millions of people were out on the streets protesting against a bill passed in the Kenyan parliament. But what was so contentious in the finance bill in Kenya that triggered nationwide protests that ultimately led to President Ruto taking a U-turn and reject the bill which aimed at raising an additional $2.7 billion in taxes as part of government's efforts to lighten Kenya's heavy debt load. Now, even after rejecting the finance bill, why are protests still continuing in the African nation? Here's a report on the Kenyan crisis.
Having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024 and listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill.
The Kenyan protests that initially started as an outcry on social media on 18th of June took physical form on 20th of June after hundreds of protesters took to streets against the contentious Finance Bill 2024. The protesting people were met tear gas, stun guns and multiple arrests by the Kenyan police amid the calls to occupy parliament, which ultimately led the young agitators to storm the parliament on 25th of June. The ensuing violence and clash with the police left at least 23 people dead and multiple injured. The backlash saw President William Ruto repealing the bill on 25th of June, conceding that the plan had caused widespread dissatisfaction. However, the move failed to quell the movement of the Kenyan youth.
The president thought by unleashing force he could quell the protests. Then he realized people were willing to die. People actually dying, and I've done some retreats actually. People who lost their loved ones last and said we're going to go back to the streets. Because they're already dead actually.
But why has the bill caused such a fierce stir in the African nation? The proposal was part of Ruto government's efforts to raise an extra $2.7 billion in domestic revenue through a tax hike to lighten the heavy debt load. At present, Kenya's public debt amounts to 68% of its gross domestic product, surpassing the advised limit of 55% by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. President Ruto, in his speech on Tuesday, assured the public of better measures.
I am directing for immediate further austerity measures to reduce expenditure, starting with the office of the President, the entire presidency, and extending to the entire executive arm of government. Operational expenditure in the presidency be reduced to remove allocations for the confidential fort, reduce travel, hospitality, purchase of motor vehicles, renovations, and other expenditures.
The 10 days of protest has created seemingly unbridgeable trust issues among the public.
The matter on how Ruto has taken the situation, this guy is very clever. Even though he has refused to sign the bill, definitely after 21 days, it will become a law, meaning we'll have to adopt unto it, and as the youth, we'll have nothing to do. Yeah, so what I will say to my fellow comrades, yeah, we are still going for this until we get what we want right.
As demands of President Ruto's resignation intensify, the bigger issue of economic woes of the Kenyan citizens remain. With an uneasy calm, it is unclear how the government plans to come out of this vicious debt cycle and aid their young population who stare at an uncertain future. This also points to a broader problem of similar debt traps in various other nations in the global south that have the potential to plunge nations into similar, if not worse, economic and political crisis.